You bring your phone everywhere. Work, school, the movies. Now you can bring it to an Xfinity store for an easy way to switch to Xfinity Mobile, a new kind of network designed to save you money. You can get up to 5 lines of talk and text included with Xfinity Internet at no extra cost, so all you pay for is data. It's never been easier to switch to Xfinity Mobile and keep the phone you love. Click here to see how. Sorry, I gotta take this. Restrictions apply. Limited to select mobile phones. Requires activation of a new line of Xfinity Mobile. Up to 5 devices per account. New Xfinity Internet customers limited to up to 2 lines pending activation of Internet service.
The message of this movie should be, don't hit people, not don't hit that guy. And they completely go against the message of this movie. And then spend the next 2,000 years and today hitting people because that guy got hit. They were just like, oh, that was awful. Fuck you, Ellen! We have learned nothing! Go Rangers!
God-awful movies. Welcome back to the Gamcast, where each week we sample another selection from Christian cinema, because if I ever meet Jesus, I want to be able to say, ultimate suffering my ass. I'm your host, No Illusions, and we're coming to you live from the People's Improv Theater in New York, New York. New York, let them hear you. And joining me from stage right is my good friend, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Heath Enright to the stage.
Excellent. Hello. This is wow. This is an attractive audience. Excellent. The pit actually doesn't know. They think we're doing a movie review, but might as well start the orgy now. We've only got like 2 hours.
It's a good call. That's
Go
a
ahead
good
and start
call.
Doing weird stuff. Yeah.
Well, if we're going to do an orgy, we're one person shy, so please also welcome from stage left my bad friend Eli Bosnick.
Woo! Live show. Live show.
I didn't do...
What?
What did I...
Is that what we're doing? What?
No, what did I fucking say? What did I fucking say?
You said live recording, wear what you wear to record.
I said dress casual. It is on the fucking whiteboard. I put it on
I can't read that anymore. It's too many.
It says no showing up to live shows in your underwear. It's right between no fucking away Lyme disease and prank wars are no excuse for orphaning rabbits. It says it right there.
That's true. It does.
I wore shoes.
He did.
No, we're going to do this right. Go back and find clothes or something. We're going to do this shit right. He comes to me before the show. He says, can I walk out in my underwear? Well, I love working with Eli Bosnick. All right, so we need to give him just a minute. So I have some quick instructions for you. But I want to keep this secret from you-know-who, so I have to mime it. All right, let me make sure he's ready to go. Here he is, ready to go. Let's try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my bad friend, Eli Bosnick.
Yeah. Jingly keys. Excellent.
Do you like my shirt? It's for sale. After the show. As much visual humor as possible. Fuck those people.
There we go. For those of you listening to the podcast, Eli is jumping. He's doing a little karate. Excellent. And he seems to be dressed like he was doing walking laps at a mall earlier today. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Leap 3.
That was way more impressive than anything they're going to do in Leap 3.
All right, so I guess we're ready to get started. Heath, tell us, what will we be breaking down today?
All right. We watched The Passion of the Christ.
Woo!
Yeah. Or what I... Thank you, yeah. Or what I like to call The Jews Did It by Mel Gibson. Yeah.
To be fair, you can call a lot of movies The Jews Did It.
It is,
like,
yeah.
all the World War II movies.
The wars,
All all war movies, really.
Yeah.
Going all the way back to the...
Angels in the Outfield.
That was them. Yeah. Some good sportsing in that one. Yeah.
Those are all the movies I know.
All right.
And Eli, tell us, how bad was this movie?
Well, if you like torture porn, that's it. This is a torture porn.
That's the movie.
But here's the crazy thing. This movie, so here's the thing. The number one feedback we got about when we said we were going to do this is people were like, oh, it was so upsetting. When I was a kid, I saw it. It freaked me out. I cried. Had nightmares about it for a week. But there are at least a baker's dozen who figured out they were into BDSM through this movie. There's 12 gay guys in the world who were just sitting there at 11 and they were just like, I want that now! Just trying to get spanked by mom and dad when he got home. He's just like, what are you gonna do? Get those ribs! I'm a naughty savior!
All right, I just want to tell the people who did not come to the live show that they've now missed Eli's ass cheeks, his boobs, pretty much the
Yeah, that's
whole
what you
nine.
get. People, yeah.
All right, so I've got a quick question for the audience here. By round of applause, how many of you have seen The Passions of the Christ?
A lot of people. Nice.
All right, that's an awful lot of you. And just to close the loop here, how many of you have not seen Passions of the Christ?
Smart. Oh, a lot more people. Smart. We have a smart
Make
audience.
good life choices.
Yeah, we have the smartest audiences. All right, if you need directions or anything, you know who to ask on the way. All right, so is there anything that you guys want to nominate for this for being the best at being the worst at?
Can I go with sassiest Satan?
He was very
Please do.
sassy.
Satan just looks like gay albino Jeremy Renner throughout this movie. He looks like he should be judging RuPaul's Drag Race. He just walks through every shot just... I love your shoes. No, I don't. I don't love your shoes. That's all Satan does. Which means that the people who made this movie are so crazy that their version of Satan was just a gay guy.
Yeah, right.
A slightly paler version of RuPaul terrifies it was the worst thing Mel Gibson could imagine. He could have had a snake that shat fire and came, Glenn Beck's scripts, and instead he was just like, I don't know, shaved Heath?
Heath is shaved Heath. Yeah. Yeah.
Shaved.
All the way.
You have any nominations, Heath?
I'm going to say best Aramaic movie I've ever seen.
All right.
Solid.
Yeah. It was fantastic.
They literally went out of their way to make this movie more difficult to follow.
Yeah.
They put it in 3 ancient languages that no human being speaks.
But that was to hide the anti-Semitism for the most.
It
Like
was.
that was.
It literally
It
was.
didn't work.
Because if you look in the IMDb thing, like they have a bunch of hidden lines where the Jews are just like, "This is all our fault," but they say it in Aramaic, but they don't know. Jews search for anti-Semitism. We found it. We were like, We separated out all of the audio tracks, and it says we deserve this on this one. So, fuck you, Mel Gibson.
Can I just throw this one out? Maybe that it was the best, worst at... am I mic'd? That's okay. It's a small crowd. I can handle it. Was it possibly the best, worst storytelling? Because over and over again in this movie, they basically tell you yeah, you know what's going on here. They give you these little snippets, little flashbacks. You know who these people are. Well, then why do we need this fucking movie?
No, we don't.
This is the version of your drunk friend being like, my buddy Alan, he was at Denny's and they fucked him up. And Mel Gibson shared a can with that guy and he was like, keep talking, mate. I want to make that into a movie. Can we torture someone during it?
Yep.
That's the important thing. All right, well, if this movie taught us anything, it's that when you got a crowd of people who want something, you fucking give it to them. So we're going to take a brief break, and when we come back, we'll resurrect all the misery that was Passions of the Christ.
Excellent. Hey, Mel, have a seat.
Thanks, guys. Always a pleasure.
More for some than others, but...
Yeah. So, Mel, we got a few concerns about this new Jesus movie you're doing.
Concerns? Well, it's a perfectly accurate description of the last 12 hours of the life of Christ, so I can't imagine what kind of concerns you'd have, but okay, shoot.
Okay, well, let's start with the title. Jesus and the Jews who killed him, also they control the media?
Yeah, perfectly accurate, like I said.
Can you please not lick that?
Oh, sorry, mate. Should have said, not for licking.
Yeah, okay, well, we were thinking we could maybe go with something less anti-Semitic. It would...
Oh, gotcha. Maybe something like My Story.
No, definitely not that.
Something a little more kid-friendly. Trouble Hebrubin in Jewtown.
No, also not that.
Oh, right, because that's New York City. Right. Passion of the Christ.
Isn't that the name of the plays medieval Christians would put on to incite pogroms?
Feel like you want me to say no?
I do. I definitely do.
Then the answer is no.
Well, also, Mel, there are also a couple of issues we have with the film itself.
Such as?
Well, I'm not sure if this was the final edit of this, but there's a part in Act 2 where your dad just drunkenly stumbles onto set and demands to see the 6.5 million bodies.
At first we thought that was clearly a mistake, but we actually double-checked, and that's in the script. You're aware of that being in the script?
Yeah, of course. Oh, so issues nepotism. I get it. Because I can get Ahmadinejad to do it if you'd prefer.
No.
You want him?
That's not really... It's not nepotism. That's not the problem.
Oh, then I'm not sure what your issue is.
I know, I'm getting that you don't understand, and that's really terrifying, actually.
Also, why do you smell like poop?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Look, guys, one second.
Again, please don't lick that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Thank
on
you.
me. You told me once, shame's on me. Tell me twice. Staple my tongue to the roof of my mouth. Look. I'd love to stay and chat, but if I sit still too long, the Manticore will find my magic bag. So, if there's nothing else...
Well, there's actually a lot of else.
And also, what you're doing now is way worse than licking it.
I kind of like it.
Hi. Fun trivia. Do you guys know who started all the wars?
Guys, I just realized I have no idea what the Macarena is. Is it a black thing? It's fine, there's none of them here. Yes! If I don't look at him, he can't see me.
I'm just going to take these batteries back out and let you vamp for an hour and a half. That's awesome.
Everyone will hate it, but they'll be like, how was the live show? Be like, I don't know, they introduced the movie, and then Eli apologized to a black guy for an hour.
Hey, you have an hour's worth of shit to apologize for, honestly, bro.
I do, it's true.
You get to see Eli in his underwear, so let's face it, that should more than make up for it.
Yeah.
Hey, you give them what they want. Or they'll crucify you, yeah.
If we learned any... I will 100% do this show, Nick. Do not tempt me. This is how I ended up fucking a guy for a first time, okay?
It was me. It's true.
If you think I won't be you won't it into sucking dicks for an hour and 40 minutes, you don't know me. You don't know me. I will work my way through the male and female audience members. I will be the Richard Carrier of god-awful movies.
Allegedly.
All I'm saying is that now all the shit I have in my notes is going to be so disappointing. You're going to be like, fuck. I'm listening to these Jew jokes instead of getting blown?
Right.
Fuck you guys. Some dude's going to get the fuck beat out of him eventually. It's just something like that. Clearly they were talking about Jesus. And ultimately, I have to point this out. This movie begins with a man babbling incomprehensibly in the woods. If you've been listening to the show, you know this is the same open. It's all the same universe.
And again, this is how they present their Messiah. He looks like he has a bad flu.
Yeah.
Where you like throw up and shit yourself and then shit.
Basically, you look at him and you think, that guy's not going to sell me the bag of weed until I hear the fucking story of his band opening for Skid Row. He's Aramaic with a California accent the whole time. It's ridiculous.
I'm just glad no one told Jesus a joke. Otherwise, he would have been like, "Raw!" They're singing. Just takes off his puka beads to get whipped.
And speaking of the casting, I was very, very disappointed. I turned this movie on. I'm Caviezel. It's not at all. He doesn't have a racist rant on YouTube. It was highly disappointing to me.
Yet. Give him a second.
You think?
By the end of this show,
Their lawyers wrote me back. I cannot get within.
that's a callback to the VIP get-together. Sorry about that. So also,
all the same universe.
now, so we go from the woods where Jesus is clearly took too much.
I get it.
Oh, you are so ready for this movie. Bag of money at Judas to betray Jesus.
Right.
And it's downhill from there.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, like, for Jews, spilled money is a huge deal. Like, this is... For the Jews watching this movie, that's the most emotional scene. Because you don't know if he's going to get all of it. That was really hard for me to watch. I've seen a guy tortured to death. I have videos of a guy being tortured. But dropping money is real for us.
Yeah.
And the throwing... And this is a movie about the crucifixion. They managed to fuck up sports in a crucifixion. Ask any Seahawk, Marshawn Lynch.
No shit.
How hard is that? Just...
Satan, he looks like Legolas trying to fuck a goth chick or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Marilyn Manson lost...
Wish Voldemort, bigger
I
nose.
didn't even know it was Satan at first. I was confused because he looks like Anne Heche coming from a...
With Jesus. Basically sounds like Eli trying to pick up a homeless guy.
Yeah, he's like, who is your father? And Jesus is like, I won't tell you. And he's like, oh yeah, what if I shit out a snake out of my dick? There, and it comes out from the dick area. He either shat a snake or a snake came out of his... Send my dick out. I want to send my dick out to do stuff now, like...
It's all right. I also
point,
can't write with the back end of a microphone either, so...
The whiteboard is just my vision board. But instead of doing anything cool, Jesus does what his one magic trick. He just yells at a thing until his dad kills it.
Right.
And the snake's like, all right. Satan said this would be a fun trip. Everyone is dressed in cowbells.
Entirely.
There's a lot.
There's a middle school that has no percussion section because of what they Jew soldiers.
They totally do.
They look like samurai nesting dolls. But like...
Eli literally spent hours and hours of his life trying to find those outfits for us.
I was just like, do you mean KKK membership rally? It was just... would not let me dress up like the Jews in this movie. They all look like people who went insane.
Eli's doing more karate.
Yeah. It was... And he does... Which makes no sense.
Right.
If your character is stopping someone from fighting, Peter goes to fight, and he's like, no, Peter. People who live by the sword die by the sword. Don't do that. Instead, he's just like, what? It's over.
So
he would have been fine if he let Peter finish. Bloody Rice, he walks back to Jesus. He's like,
I would have been fine if you had let my Peter finish. So Peter ninja apostles for a little while, and then and also I want to point this out because this is one of those things where like. Yeah, it was written right down 2,000 years ago. They weren't thinking about how it was going to look in the movie, but they have to have the bit where the dude slashes the guard's ear off. Now try to picture this. Try to picture that you're sword fighting. Try to picture a move that just takes off the fucking ear and doesn't hit the shoulder. Good luck with that. If hard. You can, you're doing better than the filmmakers because it looks fucking ridiculous.
It ends up looking like a badly choreographed scene from a Sweeney Todd at a high school. It's like... It's like my one-handed Macarena gone wrong.
Yeah, right. Oh, that was right? That was going right there? Okay.
It was going
awesome.
right. She regrets it now. She knew. She learned a valuable lesson today.
So now we're going to meet Mary, and if you're wondering which Mary, go ahead and keep fucking wondering, because for some reason they cast two women that look virtually identical and are virtually the same age to play Mary Magdalene and to play Mother Mary. So you don't know who the fuck it is. She wakes up because she's felt a disturbance in the force or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And the casting call for both the Marys was just Jewess.
Oh, clearly.
The character description here is just a Jewish woman. I think, honestly, I have a little theory for you. When Gibson was swearing at the cop, I think he was just trying to cast the movie. He was like, "Are you Jewish? I got a movie. I'm looking for..." He wasn't being anti-Semitic. He was just like, "I want you to be in the film. You Jewish? How about you? You?
How many wars have you started?
How many..."
Yeah.
All right, great. So
when we get there, so the way you know which one's Jesus, I'm gonna do like a tender kiss on the cheek. With that, can we
if I say you...
Jesus has already identified himself at this point. He's already said, "I'm Jesus." So he's just like, I'm not...
I'm taking my moment.
And also, okay, so, and I had to write this down in my notes. We are 16 minutes into this movie. We have already seen Jesus get punched, betrayed, hung, whipped, choked, kicked, and nearly snake fucked. And we are...
Must have had a meeting about this. They must have been like, all right, so did you check the height of the bridge?
9 cubits.
The length of the chain? It actually says "fuck you, Brian" in the subtitles right
That's
there. Yeah.
Aramaic for "fuck you."
Yeah.
You don't...
Not much happens here, so they have to keep doing weird shit that isn't in the Bible just to make it seem cinematic. Fucking Ted Cruz's wife just runs by.
Well, this is the crazy... So they made this movie... Right, well, that wasn't... Nothing about... Also, we should point out, before we get into it, Schizophrenic fits, and one time she woke up from her seizure and was like, "Guys, I just saw the crucifixion," and everyone was like, "Tell me all about it. We don't have antibiotics yet." Write that shit down. So all of the, like, how many times he got punched and where they poked him in the dick, although there's very little of doing stuff to Jesus' dick in this movie. But Not nearly enough. Yeah.
Very disappointing.
All of that is based on just a crazy we're in New York, we could go find a homeless person right now who could dictate what we see in this movie, because she's just like, and then the Italian guys whose teeth keep changing came up and they were just like, "Blah!" He uppercuts him like a Ryu. What's that? It's a video game in a couple thousand years. It's just,
Dragon Punch. Yeah, that would have been nice. Or if he had like a lion dick detachable that could fight the snake, that would have been... I would have enjoyed that. Yeah.
So a lot of things I'd enjoyed more than this fucking movie. So, and also, again, just to kind of like move this movie around a little bit, we get these little flashbacklets. And I say flashbacklets because they're all like 18 seconds long, and it's like, all right, now back to more torture and Jesus. But we get our first one here, which is where Jesus is making the table.
So this movie, again, not in the Bible, this movie proposes that Jesus invented tables.
It does. It does. Because Mary comes up to it and she's like, "What is this weird contraption?" He's like, "You sit near it, look." And he does this, right? But he doesn't have a chair. He just like does like this.
And she's like, "Oh,
like he just did a fucking magic trick.
Oh, you just see like blood and shit come pouring out from under her robe because of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie proposes that Jesus invented tables.
Well, just a high top.
The shitty high top tables that you have to settle for.
Right, you settle for
there's no
TGI Fridays.
TGIF, yeah. The worst.
Okay, guys,
comes
you
back
have
to
a party
TGIF.
of 4. If you want, I can put you over in Stephanie's section.
No, Stephanie's the worst. She's Brian of this restaurant. You know it. Yeah.
Fuck you.
So what we're supposed to learn from this one, of course, is that Jesus sure did love his ma. They have a little splash fight and everything. And now it's... Oh, no, we don't get to torture Jesus yet. First, we got to meet Pontius Pilate, who looks like Baba Brinkman got smacked with a pan.
Yeah.
Honestly, he looks like Baba Brinkman got cast as Pontius Pilate. It's pretty creepy. And then we get back to more torture porn. Mm-hmm. We whip Jesus.
Well, so here's the thing about Pontius Pilate. We meet Pontius Pilate, but he's by far the best actor in the movie.
Oh, yeah, I'd say
he does the best job. But Pontius is entirely ruined by the fact that his wife's name in this biblical movie is fucking Claudia.
Claudia?
Yeah. I want to speak to a manager. Claudia? There were people walking around the biblical times just like, "Oh, what's your name? Josepheth? What's this person's name? Pietra? What's your name? Claudia?" She just walks in with like a gift bag from TJ Maxx. And she's like, "I was shopping."
All right, well, and you know what else she does is she wakes up like straight up with a fucking
She does. She
star.
wakes up straight
Obviously.
up.
Pisses me off.
Check it off your bingo
Gets
card.
to me. Yeah, right, exactly. So now we're getting to the part where the Jews are actually going to condemn Jesus. And this is the first time that we really meet these Jews. Now, one of the guys, the guy who stands like to the right of the main Jew.
I wish we didn't have to say
That's
that.
what
so
it
long.
says in the credits.
Yeah, it does.
He's not
It does.
Jew. It's just the main Jew.
Guy to the right
Yeah.
of it. Like, it's not the first. There's 3 guys, but the guys behind him who like wanted to turn it into an under 5 that like with like a little bag of gold were just like.
Hold on, cut. Jewier. One more time. A little Jewier. There you go.
I swear, that was probably 90% of the directions that Mel Gibson gave in this movie. Jewier. Can you do it with a little more Jew? And also, when they're accusing Jesus, there's this weird blocking that goes on where one guy comes from the right and says something about the other guy comes from the... Did they plan this? It's like, guys, it's gonna look stupid if we all come from the same fucking side.
Right.
You come in and I'm gonna say he created demons, and you say that he thought he was the Messiah. You say he fucked dudes. It'll be a thing.
It looks like lyrical dance.
And the thing with the scene, I couldn't put my finger on it at first. It was kind of familiar. You got this overweight man, and he's saying stuff that I don't understand to a chained up prisoner. And then I realized that golden bikini is the only thing missing. It's this Jewish guy is Abba the Hutt. Caiaphas is Abba the Hutt, and that's what's happening. It was exactly like that.
I was convinced you were talking about a home video of Eli's. He'll show that one to you on the phone too for 5 seconds. But the main Jew guy is not quite buying all of the accusations and everything. So he goes to Jesus directly. He says, "Hey man, are you saying you're the Messiah?" And Jesus is like,
I actually have that clip.
"Oh, do we?
Can we go, BJ?
Wonderful.
Can we play the clip? It starts with the guy's face. It starts with Jesus' face. Look at it.
Yeah, here he is.
That's the main Jew in
Yeah,
the
that's-
credits.
Hulk style
Hogan's it.
transition.
Hulk Hogan.
But he can't quite do it, right?
Yeah,
It's
right.
like if I tried to tear my shirt open, so it's just like...
Do you want a scissors or something? I feel like
No, I got it.
you saw what he's trying to do though. You see the
It's just, and his neck hole just ends up stretched out.
That's about it.
So he just came home that night, and his wife, Esther, was just like, "What happened to your shirt? Did someone say they were the Messiah again?"
Yep.
We talked about this. Dr. Birnbaum gave you that little stress ball you're supposed to squeeze if people call themselves the Messiah.
Yeah, clearly he wasn't taking it. So after this scene that you just see, this is where they all just line up to start punching Jesus. If you remember the end of Death Proof when they're around in the circle with Kurt Russell, basically think of Jesus as a Weeble. And you'll basically have the whole visual here. Except that they want us to take this shit seriously.
Yeah, and so we actually made a little compilation of all the times Jesus gets hit. Do we have a very...
Is it just the whole movie? Is that...
Yeah,
Do you guys want to watch the whole movie right now?
Yeah. We have a very tasteful clip of a little compilation of all the times that Jesus gets hit in this movie. It's very tasteful.
You remember at the live show when we played that music that was legal
when it
to
was
play?
Perfectly apropos for the
'Cause-
situation. It was super funny.
And it was legal to
So
play because of the
good.
ASVAB compliance of the
That was
People's
the best.
Improv Theater, but wouldn't be legal to transmit on a podcast. Yeah.
That was awesome.
That clip,
That's the movie.
That's the whole thing.
That's pretty
first
much
of all,
the movie.
thank you to Alex for making that, but second of all, that clip is 4.5 minutes long.
Yes. Yes.
The biggest fight we've had on our show is whether or not I just made you watch all 4.5 minutes of that clip. I lost that conversation, but I would have just sat here in echoey silence while you listened to All Star and watched them really beat up Chim Caviezel.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but Jim Caviezel actually got the fuck beat out of him when they were doing that. Like, 2 of those scenes that you saw were them actually whipping the dude. So, like, eventually he dislocated his shoulder when they dropped the cross on him. He got hit by lightning at one point. Yeah, I mean, that day he had to have heart surgery after the whole thing was over. Like, that dude really did get the fuck beat out of him. I don't think he suffered like we suffered, but he suffered.
But, like, here's the thing. In what situation do you get actually whipped during a scene and the movie doesn't stop?
Right.
Like, he got actually hit and he didn't go like, guys, fuck you. What the hell was that, Alan? And the guy's just holding the whip and he's like, Mel just said to do it. And it's like, well, don't listen to Mel. Mel tore off one of his nipples because craft services didn't have tacos. They have their own whiteboard that just says, don't listen to Mel.
So, now, of course, before we can go any further with the Jesus torture porn, we have to wrap up the Judas storyline here.
All right.
So first, of course, Judas goes back to the Jews, tries to give them the money back, but his warranty's voided. He sat on it or so, whatever. They always get you.
Right. The realistic thing about this movie is that the Jews didn't take the money back.
I was going to say the least anti-Semitic thing about this movie,
Satan
but yeah.
has a bug crawl out of his nose, and he like later carries the Antichrist in a little papoose. But the least realistic thing is Jews being like, we don't need a refund. If one of you isn't enjoying the show and wanted to hand me money right now, I will accept it. They take away my tattoo if I don't. A lot of people didn't get that was a Holocaust joke,
Yeah,
and then
that was
saw it.
Thank
I
you
saw
for
it
the
sweep up the
specificity.
audience. It started here because they're closer to the sound, and then I watched all of you realize all the way up to the back. This is just, I didn't get it. Oh, no, it's a Holocaust joke.
Somebody's doing the wave for the Holocaust
Yeah.
joke. I saw it. That was wonderful.
Our
Maybe
show
if
has
more
now
Jews had
become
done the
more
wave.
anti-Semitic than the movie we're reviewing. That's awesome. Also, this is where we're introduced to, like, the demon children. Like the couple of kids come up to help Judas, and he's like, no, I don't need help. And then they're all like...
Right. Well, Judas basically lives my second grade experience here, just getting chased. Get out of here! They're just not holding dodgeballs.
Did you have a lot of herpes in second grade? Yes. That was, but like by the minute growing herpes.
I had a very aggressive gym teacher.
I shouldn't even ask. I don't know why I asked these questions. Yeah.
This was before the full Nelson was outlawed in wrestling, so... You know.
It was Dennis Hastert, right? Yeah. That was weird.
You got to picture
He's
it.
the rapist wrestling teacher.
Yeah, that's...
I don't know. It's fine.
They're
you didn't
losing
know.
track.
Yeah.
And also, of course, now, as I'm sure most of you are aware, Mel is a Catholic, so we have to spend an awful lot of time on Mary's superpowers in this movie. Jesus never has any kind of superpowers, but Mary has, because the walks into this room, and she's like...
She literally stops and puts her ear to the ground, and then the camera pans down, and Jesus is like directly below her. I expected him to like reach up and like shave and a haircut, and then Mary's like 2 bits.
Would have been so much
She's
better.
just dowsing for Jesus. She's got 2 sticks. Cupping for Jesus. Cupping for Jesus is the name of my band. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there you go. So now we got to cut back to Judas being chased around through the desert the next day by all these little demon children, and of course Satan's with them or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he sits down and like all the children disappear, and he looks around, and apparently right behind him is the camel where Luke Skywalker spent the night last night or whatever. And he just has this look on his face, is like, holy shit, I'm sitting right next to a dead camel, ain't I? How would you not notice?
I mean, here's the thing. I have a fan theory here. Again, all movies, same universe. I think that dead camel is the camel that left during Book of Mormon.
That's camel.
Yeah, I know. Now I know how Muhammad
I feel like
felt.
Muhammad.
Yeah, I'm upset by that.
Yeah.
The camel that died in the different movie is the most likable character in this movie.
So now we get them dragging Jesus back into...
Yeah, they get so close to the music. It's like da na na na.
Don't.
Someone very clearly wrote all those notes, and they were like, dude, you're going to get a suit. And he was like, there. It's not Jurassic Park.
So now, of course, this is where they're dragging Jesus up in front of Pontius. Now, so this is one of the situations where, like, the Jews want him dead, they want him condemned, but they can't condemn him to die, but they can apparently ask someone else to do it. It's like the elevator where all the buttons are already pushed or whatever.
It's like an Aramaic version of Twitter.
Yeah. It's a social media site where you're limited to 140 characters.
You know how sometimes I'm on my phone and I'm sad because people are saying mean things to me?
Yeah.
They send them in from home.
From Twitter. Okay.
We'll go over it after the
Lesson
show.
learned.
So, and I have to say, one of the things...
I just use it for porn, the internet. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no. If you know the right people, you can use Twitter for porn. So, right here.
Jamie. This is Jamie who provides all of our hypocritical boobs.
Yes.
Yes.
So, and I want to say, like, one of the anti-Semitic kind of turns in this movie is how much effort they go to not demonize Pontius Pilate.
Yeah.
Because every time we see Pontius, he's like, man, I really don't want to kill this Jew, but then all those other Jews are going to fucking get me fired or whatever. Like, over and over again, he's trying to find a way out of it, right? And this is the first time, they're all, like, telling him what he did, and they're like, building it up slowly, because they're like, well, what did he do? And Pontius is like, what did he do? What do you want me to kill him for? He's like, he violated the Sabbath, and Pontius is like,
I'm doing that right now.
I mean, while he was fucking dudes.
Yeah.
Pontius is still like...
I'm doing that right now.
He says... So finally they land on, he says he's the king of Rome, and Pontius is like, okay, well, no, I guess
I can kill him for that. I can kill him for that.
Yeah. He's also creating a tax evasion cult.
Yes,
yeah.
right.
And he's like, oh, you mean just like you guys? No, like a different tax evasion called Jingle Keys.
They didn't have keys. They didn't have locks or keys yet, so they were just jingling like the sword you kept by the door.
or maybe the armor. Yeah,
right, exactly.
Their
cowbell armor.
Right. So Pontius takes Jesus into Thomas Jefferson's house for a quick chat or whatever. And I gotta say, Jesus is such a dick in this scene. Because first of all, he comes in and he's just dripping blood every fucking where.
Oh, I hear you're into PlayStation. What kind of PlayStation you got there, champ? Whatever. You're not my real dad. My real dad's the son of God. I know, but I'm just saying. Me and your mom like each other very much. How would you feel about me being the king of Rome, rendering unto me what?
So Pontius is still unconvinced despite Jesus' douchebaggery. So he brings Jesus back out. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. No.
Nice carry. Fuck. Somebody's carrying like 19 beers into the audience right now. It's excellent.
Very well done. Very.
Because our eyes are based on movement, so he was just like, I bet if we had hit him with like a lamp, he would have frozen. Like Metal Gear Solid style. He has to like get under a cardboard box.
This is great radio, bro.
Fuck it. There are people in New Jersey who are like, can't make it. Fuck those people. A guy came from Puerto Rico.
We got London. We got Puerto Rico. Jersey couldn't make it.
They'll never see that. Look, I'm going to do a backflip. Oh! And now I shall never do one again. Hypnotize the audience. They'll say I never did one. And sleep, wake up. Good. James Randi. No, I didn't do a fucking kids thing. That was a magic. He does, he did both, but don't Google it. It's just a joke. He didn't, don't Google it.
What Eli meant to say was, then we go to Herod.
Speaking of gay dudes with beards.
Right.
Yeah, we got Eric Cartman and mascara.
Yes.
There he is. King Herod.
Heath will never know either. That's the wonderful thing about it. Even the people at the live show. So Pontius doesn't want to condemn Jesus, so he sends him to Herod, and I don't know where the fuck they found this guy. He was amazing. It's like they cast Josh Gad in this fucking movie.
Yeah. Herod looks like Don King upside down covered in eye makeup.
Nailed it.
Got a little Ben Franklin at a drag show going on.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. Like Rastafarian, Williamsburg bartender.
Yeah, exactly.
Relief pitcher at the same time.
He's like Williamsburg bartender who moves to the village. He kept the beard but added the eyeliner.
Yes, yeah,
and
there
he
you
had
go.
like a cat's eye.
And speaking of cat's eye, he
Three
also
makeup nerds loved that joke. None of you bitches, but one girl at home right now is like, cat's eye! That's for her.
trying to get jokes to you guys one at a time.
Don't you tone police my
Taking a
makeup
while.
jokes. I can see everything. Special features.
What Eli meant to say is then we cut to Pontius and Claudia having a philosophical moment there, talking about the nature of truth.
Right, so this is where we learned that, like, Pontius is basically all the students at Harvard before Kelly Kohlberg got there. Fucking, he pulls down Nietzsche from the shelf on a scroll and he's like, well, I'm a nihilist and I don't believe in hard determinism. I really disagree with Sam Harris. And she's like, who are those people? And it doesn't matter. We need to excuse this Jesus guy.
Right. So once again, nobody will condemn Jesus. At this point in the movie, I'm like, I'll condemn him. The blood is on my fucking hands. Just get this thing over with. But this is where, like, the guard comes in and tells him, hey, man, no, sorry, Herod's not going to do your dirty work. And he's like, damn, I have to figure out what to do before there's an uprising. And the guard says, there is already an uprising. Now, as a filmmaker, you would think that we then would cut to the fucking uprising. We've just been promised a war, but instead it's back to more litigation with Jesus. This is where we get the Barabbas
Andrew
bit,
Torres'
right?
like ancestors sitting there. The one Jewish family member all the way back in Andrew Torres' life. That's a cross podcast joke. You don't all have to get it. It's all one universe.
All the podcasts come from the same universe, correct. So this is where we meet Barabbas. So because we haven't really gotten into the Haiti-Jewy thing yet.
I love Barabbas.
Oh, he was amazing.
He's the best. This is all Barabbas' performances. All Barabbas does the entire... Because they couldn't make him just like... Because he's a revolutionary, he's a condemned murderer, and in history he was just like a revolutionary who they decided to spare. But they were like, no. We want to make Jesus look good. So Barabbas is just like... He could not be a worse... They like bring a baby... He's basically free hat. They bring out a baby and he's like, fucking it. Who do you want to free? And Barabbas is just like, vote for me, American Idol.
Eli is now miming getting blown by a baby. You just have to imagine that.
That was fun. When you're getting blown by a baby,
that's what you pay the $25 fucking dollars for.
When you're fucking a baby, you got to get like a table. No. You don't get to laugh at the Holocaust jokes and then judge the miming of fucking a baby. You don't get to draw your line here right before I fuck the baby.
Hold on.
Perfect height. The whiteboard's coming out.
Great.
That's a good one. I support this one.
I can't believe I didn't think of that before. Holy shit. So the Jews, of course, they decide to let Barabbas go. And Jesus doesn't look mad, just disappointed. And then he turns to the crowd and he's like, okay, what do you want me to do with this guy? And everybody just starts chanting, crucify him! Crucify him! We don't give a fuck if there's pogroms or shit later. We just want this guy dead.
It's like a slightly less racist Trump rally. Lock him up. That's
You don't. So
just an ancient Dave Rubin interviewing Barabbas. You make some good points. I look like everyone's divorced dad. Go ahead.
So all right. So now we're going to get to what I believe is the most infamous scene in this entire movie. This is the one where they tie Jesus to the whipping post and scourge him or whatever.
And this is where, now, this is something that we don't talk about enough. This is a very strongly anti-Roman movie because the guys beating up Jesus, They look like the pizza guy from Little Caesars with Down syndrome. Like, that's what they chose for those characters. They have different numbers of teeth in each scene. Like, one scene, he's got one tooth, and then Jesus' blood splashes on him, so his teeth are all back in his face again, and then he knocks him out in between the scenes. Yeah.
And they bark. They just basically bark the entire time that they're whipping him. Now, I gotta point this out. Like, I've watched movies where the only point of the movie is to make you go, ugh, or whatever. Like these horror movies where that's kind of the point. Even those movies would not spend this much fucking time whipping a guy to death. This is like, by the end of this, he looks like Mayor McCheese's menstruating vagina. Picture that.
If you'd like to buy your Mayor McCheese's...
We have a clip of the... No, I'm kidding.
If you'd like to buy your Mayor McCheese's menstruating vagina t-shirts, they'll be outside. We have one. It took a very long time to make.
It was mostly the legal hurdles from McDonald's that took so long, yeah. But no, just to give you an idea. Okay, so they tie, and you've seen scenes in movies where people get whipped before. And basically, you look at their face, and maybe you see there's some bloody crosshatches. Yeah, but in this movie, we literally watch Jesus get whipped 32 times. I counted. So did the guy in Latin behind me. But 32 fucking times. And then we're not done. This is where they go and then they get the cat of nine tails and start whipping him with that. And we watch that 9 times, and then they flip his ass over and start whipping him on the front.
So, did anyone else have this experience? I had a very meta moment when I was watching this where I was just like, what do I do for a living? Like, because lots of you watched this movie to get ready for the show, and this is a long scene, and you must all have had the moment I had where you were just like, I should fast forward? This is gross.
It was quite fucking gross. Yeah, but eventually we're rescued from that scene so that we can watch the two Marys be sad together. This is also where we learn that Claudia apparently moonlights as the towel girl at public torturings.
Yeah, she brings towels from like Bed Bath & Beyond.
Yeah, right.
They could have Yankees logos on them. There just could not be more out of place in this world. And she hands them to Mary, and Mary does the ultimate Jewish mother thing. Jesus is like covered in blood, or he's just covered in blood. He definitely needs a towel. And instead she cleans the floor.
Yes!
She's like, oh, he made a mess. Listen, if you're gonna kill my son, I just don't want anyone to say he made a mess while you did it. They're gonna say my son had the cleanest crucifixion. That's what they'll say.
I just wanted to go up to Jesus, like, lick her finger and be like, you got a little schmutz.
Mom, I'm dying for your sins.
Right.
Mom, I'm dying for your sins.
You're gonna look like an idiot if they crucify you.
My girlfriend's here.
Just clean yourself off a little.
God.
It's important.
So, I'm the light in the way. Guys, I will create a Patreon goal for me to read the entire Bible in that voice. Straight read.
So while I'm adjusting our new Patreon page, I guess that's as good a place to take a break as any. But before we do, let me give Act 3 the hard sell here. Will Jesus get whipped some more? Will Jesus get punched some more? Will Jesus get kicked some more? Find out the answers to these questions and absolutely nothing else when we return for the barbaric conclusion of The Passions of the Christ.
Raphael, Uriel, wanted to run something by you.
Sure, boss. Yeah, whatever you need, God.
All right. Yeah, you know how I'm all the time tormenting humans on Earth and then burning them for eternity?
Sure do.
Well, I finally thought of a way I could forgive myself for making them wrong in the first place and stop doing that.
Oh, wow, boss, that's great. Yeah. Was the solution to just stop doing it? Because you are omnipotent. You can just not do
better.
Whatever you want.
I'm thinking that I could take human form, subject myself to ultimate suffering, and then sacrifice myself to myself.
Yeah, that seems just overcomplicated. That's great, boss. Anything that makes you stop torturing everybody, right? Wonderful. What a great idea.
All right, so first things first. What is the very worst thing somebody could possibly suffer through? We need ultimate suffering here.
Being born in a basement to a kidnapping victim and knowing nothing of the world but rape and cruelty.
Yeah, that's very... Or what about being horribly deformed in a pre-scientific culture and being rejected by those that should care for you only to slowly starve in abject misery?
Being Steve Anderson's wife.
Okay, or what about being one of those eyeball monsters that has to spend all day, every day, singing about how awesome you are?
Nope.
That's...
Good guesses, guys, but no. It's being beat up for a couple of days and then crucified.
Are you sure? Because I feel like our stuff was way worse.
Nope. It wasn't. It was beaten up and crucified. Ultimate suffering.
I mean, well, it does take days to die from. You're probably right, God, honestly.
Days? Are you sure about that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Second surest of the people in the room.
All right, okay, well, maybe a few hours of crucifixion. That's probably ultimate enough. Wouldn't you guys think?
Sure, God, yeah.
Yeah, and then you'll put an end to human suffering, right?
Well, cool. No, I'll just stop burning them in hell.
All of them?
Oh, no, only the ones that love the human me.
But isn't that what you're already doing?
Stop
nothing.
being such a downer, Uriel. Okay, first thing I need to do is impregnate a virgin. Either of you guys seen my turkey baster?
I want to say no real bad.
Say no.
And we're back for more of this shit, and we didn't even get a 3-day break like Jesus. Anyway, it has been seconds since we watched Jesus get tortured, so we're going to go back to more of that, I guess. And in the middle of this torture, we're going to get the cast the first stone flashback. Now, I wanted to point this one out specifically because this is one of those, like, we already know you know this story moments where, like, if you didn't already know the story of the Mary Magdalene and everything, there's no fucking way. If I told you Jesus was drawing out the winning play for his fucking backyard football game, that would make more sense.
I thought it was tic-tac-toe.
Right.
And then I thought it was a cornhole tournament. And nope, because all you see is the Jews standing there, and then Jesus draws a line in the sand like a bad Clint Eastwood movie. And then the Jews just drop their rocks and go home.
Right, but
it's like a slightly higher tech Rio Olympics. Just less Zika.
Yes.
Bigger heads. Bigger heads.
Yeah.
Again, I fucked a baby. There was the You don't get your line can't be Zika, okay?
Yep.
It's not even here yet. You all listened to Loving the Bad Man and we're like, tee hee 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 hee. Don't get to tweet at me about this shit.
So
at Heath Enright.
So now this film has another one of these phenomenal condemning Jesus scenes for us. And I feel like, okay, so like this is the 5th time or whatever that the crowd has gathered to watch Jesus get condemned. And you can't help but wonder, do any of these people have a fucking job? Does the whole city just shut down for 6 days for Jesus here? Unreal.
This was pre-movie, so this was like all they had entertainment.
Oh, I gotcha.
They're going to beat the crap out of a guy. You want to go see that?
Yeah. Sure.
Well, apparently that's still what we have for entertainment.
I'm going to die in like 10 minutes anyways of the rickets, so let's do it. Why the fuck not?
Watch somebody more miserable than me. But this is where they gather around, and basically they show how beat up Jesus is, and they're like, is this good enough, guys? Is this...
And it's not.
And Pontius is super upset because he was like, hey, go beat him up a little bit. And they bring him back and he's just like wet meat that like came out of the Taco Bell dumpster. And he's like, guys, I said a little bit. And they're like, there's this weird comedy moment where they're like, did I do that? And then he's like, you want me to crucify? He's dead. I think he's dead. It's over, guys. But it's not good enough.
No, it clearly isn't. And Pontius is still looking for a way out of it. He's like, hey, is it okay if I crucify you, dude? And Jesus is basically like, yeah, I guess.
It's all good. It's the Jews. They did this. It's not. Just looks at the camera, winks. It's the Jews. They did this.
There's also this weird moment where, like, Jesus is a little punked drunk in this scene, so when he's like, do you mind getting crucified? He's sort of like, yeah, sure, man, whatever. I was like, you ever bring a friend who's blackout drunk and you know he's blackout drunk, but he doesn't know and you don't want him to freak out and start fighting fire hydrants? So he's just sitting there at Denny's with a Grand Slam breakfast and his hand is under the toast and he's just like...
And then also there's this weird bit where like Pontius is still trying to figure out what he's doing there and everything. I know that was a pretty good line, I know. But so Pontius is trying to figure out what he's going to do and everything. He's still trying to find a way out of it. And the Jews start fighting in the crowd, like either you crucify this guy or we're going to punch the fuck out of ourselves. What kind of bargaining chip is this?
I wish we did that more. I wish we did that more often. Like in crowds, at like America's Got Talent, if the person didn't win that they wanted, they just start beating the shit out of each other in the audience.
That would be pretty... I'd start watching that show again.
I'd watch it.
Yeah. It's just not even on anymore, isn't it? That's how long it's been since I watched TV. So now Pontius finally agrees to crucify him. So we're going to get to the part where Jesus drags the cross and gets whipped for the remainder of this goddamn movie.
Yeah. And this procession looks like the Olympic torch going through Rio, but like slightly safer and less violent.
Yeah. Jesus falls down less times than they did in Rio trying to carry that, like, their only remaining fire that they had left in that country. They all pool together. Like, someone in this country still knows how to make fire, right, guys?
But they do this so many, like, okay, so we see Jesus fall on the cross. We see Jesus fall under the cross. We see Jesus fall downstairs.
We actually have a really tasteful compilation. Do we have a really tasteful compilation?
You remember that other time when we played that other song?
The same thing, the song?
Yeah, it was, and Jesus kept falling
again,
down.
So funny and appropriate, and yeah.
Go to the live show.
It's about That last one gets an 8.5.
That clip is like
American
also
judge.
3 minutes long, and we had to decide whether or not to just show you all the times Jesus falls down.
Yeah, and we decided against, ultimately, which is good because it's like
lost.
8:15. That's you won on the underwear thing. I feel like you should take that as a victory.
We all won.
So. Now, of course, again, because this is a Catholic movie, we have to follow Mary's adventure through all of this. So she's apparently rushing to Golgotha to get good seats for the crucifixion.
She wants to be first in line for the Q&A afterwards.
Oh, I gotcha.
I have a question for the Roman guy. The Jews did this, right? The Jews did this? Cool.
Just making sure. So yeah, then she had this little moment where she's like, I don't know if I want to watch my son get crucified. I don't want to watch this shit either, lady, but if I'm going to do it, you're going to fucking do it. They even have this little bit, and this didn't make it into the clip, but they have this little bit where she watches him fall down and then she thinks about him as a little baby falling down.
No, that was in there.
It was? Okay.
Baby Jesus falling down. But this is the thing about this movie, to get a little serious, the only thing sad about this movie is that, like, you shouldn't hit people.
Yes.
Like, it doesn't... If this was just like Steve, the guy who stole too many kumquats or whatever the fuck fruit they had back then, it would also be a sad movie.
Yes.
The crazy thing about this fucking movie is we're supposed to be like, no, it's extra sad, because if they had just done this to like that guy, we'd be like, meh, but because they did it to Jesus, it's bad. Am I right? Come on.
Yes.
It's like, and this was a genuinely touching moment. Like, you see the kid fall down in the moment between a mother and son, but like, lots of people got crucified. Crucifixion was bad. The message of this movie should be, don't hit people, not don't hit that guy. And they completely go against the message of this movie. And then spend the next 2,000 years and today hitting people because that guy got hit. They were just like, oh, that was awful. Fuck you, Ellen! We have learned nothing! Go Rangers!
This is so awkward, like when we were setting this up, because at first when we started watching this movie, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad we did this one for the live one, that we saved this for the live one, and then for the last 40 minutes, it's just the shit you just saw of Jesus falling down and getting picked back up. All my notes.
That's it.
From this point on are just Jesus gets whipped, Jesus falls down, Jesus gets up, Jesus gets the crown of thorns.
We're going to reenact this movie after you give Heath enough drinks at the end of the night. We're going to live the last... It's not going to end with Jesus fucking one of you, but other than that, it's going to be exactly the same.
Clearly, you didn't watch the extended cut. So we also. Don't worry, it's on the whiteboard. I put it on the whiteboard.
Get 2 puppies.
So now we also have to mention, and is this from the crazy nun ladies thing, or was this in the Bible? The random guy that they pull out of the crowd to help carry the crowd.
Simon of Cyrene, yeah.
Oh, is that who that was?
Yeah.
They pull out this guy, and he's just like a random spectator, but he is, first of all, he's the only person who's remotely dark enough to be like in that time and place in the entire movie. So for me, who was not aware of the history and the Bibleness of this, I was just like, oh, they just made the black guy help. They like walked over and they were like, dude, can you. And the rest of the movie, this poor black guy's just following along being like, I just want to be clear, I am not a part of this.
Yes.
He's got to like give Jesus a pep talk. He's like, come on, man. This is already not a good world for me to be in. I need you to... Hal Jordan.
I'm like...
Okay. So you'll Google that later and be mad at me.
I'm like 90% sure that Gibson tried to get Danny Glover for this part. He was like, absolutely not. I'm not being in your fucking movie.
I think Gibson thought he got Danny Glover. Danny, how you doing, mate? It's great to have you on this. And the guy was just like, dude, are you kidding?
What do you,
like
you
$600
keep
a day. I'm not going to tell him. Guy just goes home, keeps calling me Danny. Totally worth it. Craft Services is great. Keep beating the shit out of Jim Caviezel, but he seems into it, so whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, Danny Glover! No.
Nope.
No. He's dead, right? How sure are you that he's not dead? Not super sure, right?
No
You're
one
all like getting the phone out and being like, I totally know.
It's like if you prove Eli wrong on that one, he'll prove you right tomorrow. So don't.
I'll kill Danny Glover.
Hold on, let me put something on the fucking whiteboard again. I'll be back. All right, you're safe, Danny Glover. All right. So they pull Sammy Davis Jr. out of the fucking crowd to help him out. The only black Jew I could think of.
They
Sorry
should be
about
buddy
that,
cops in the sequel. That would be fun. How fun would that be?
Because he's got the hole in his hands and Sammy Davis Jr., I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm ready to do this. There's like 4 people who know who Sammy Davis Jr. is. I nailed that impersonation.
Yes, oh yes. Yeah, if you know who he is, he didn't. But if you don't, that was spot on. So, and also, help me out on this one too. I do this shit twice a week, guys. I try to get these guys from one end of the show to the other. It's amazing.
This is why it takes him. This is why he edits till 4 a.m. because it's just me and Heath being like, shaman it now. I gotta be honest, I think I've been doing a Maisie Gray impersonation, guys. I get knocked down. I get up again.
We gotta save that.
Where's Macy Gray? Is she back? No. If you're listening on the podcast, Macy Gray's coming out.
Macy Gray is a huge fan.
Yeah, oh yeah. So also, help me out on the chick too, like, because there's this chick that we have not met yet in the movie who shows up to give Jesus a towel.
Oh, she's just a randomly upset woman that they decided to spend she blew Gibson, I guess, in his trailer.
I guess.
And he was like, you're getting a whole section of the movie. Now, I can't give you any lines because I already wrote the script in my own blood and I'm all out of blood. And she's just like a lady who saw a bike get hit by a car and her whole performance is just like, well, I wanted to follow her where she sits down and she's like, I had the worst day. And her husband's like, yeah, what's wrong? She was like, oh, they were beating the crap out of this guy.
You didn't have any towels?
Bloodied my fucking towel? But she seemed to really be into that towel because after he wipes his face,
he's not a follower.
Right, exactly.
Blood towel, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into that, that's fine. But warn me first. Holy shit.
Yeah, my notes here were just, it's nice to know one of my ancestors was there. I was just like, oh, souvenir. Put her on ancient Jewish eBay. She was like, bloody towel.
We're inviting him on as a guest next week. So now they have
guys. Did you notice?
Right.
Just
got
had
the
to carry
one.
the Lincoln Log.
Yeah.
And they got the.
So also, was this like, because I don't mean to be like, oh, you know, you have some.
It's the only instrument Jews.
And also, yeah, let's talk about these other two thieves for a little bit, because they had such a shitty attitude about that. They're pissed off at Jesus for taking all the whipping.
And can we talk about the way he looks because of all the whipping at this point?
Oh my God.
He's got like cross-hatching going. I feel like the Romans set this up. It was like, all right, now you whip him at a 90, and then it'll look well, do it let's do it like grill marks. At
this point, you know, you're thinking the same thing we were, which is when's Jesus going to get tortured a little bit into the cross? Now, do you guys know whose hand that was on the cross?
Mel Gibson's
fucking hand. He said in interviews, it's because he died for my sins I had to put my hand on the cross.
I think Mel Gibson's just incapable of not having someone hurt him in every movie he does.
That could have been it.
At the end, they had all the shoots done, and he was like, you know, I realized no one hurt me. And the editor was like, I will kick you in the balls right now. Please don't make me do any reshoots. And he's like, we got
36 guys lining up, yeah.
And I like how they tap down the nails behind it to be safe.
Keep it locked.
Yeah, it's like a safe crucifix.
Not even remotely in the Bible. There's a part where they yank Jesus' arm out of...
Gotta get on the angle and just get your hips against it.
Yeah, apparently. And again, this is...
It's fine.
The Wundersnund cross.
Again, you would think, you know, we know who Jesus is. We know he got nailed to a... Imply the other ones, you can hear the sound, maybe see his... No. We're going to watch both fucking nails in the hands, the nails in the feet, the whole nine. We are going to watch every fucking second of that, complete with squirty noises. Where the hell did that come from?
I expected an ESPN replay with John Madden being like, now you see the nails right here? He's drawing in yellow on the screen in slow motion. That's some good crucifixion right there. That's some fine crucifixion.
You see, the crucifixion isn't over until he's dead. Once he's dead, he's here. So, like Neil deGrasse Tyson, that means I'm not an atheist, apparently.
I bet you've heard all the shows. You knew it was going to happen. You're not...
I'd have warned you, man. But anyway, the point I was trying to make is that when you raise Jesus up on the cross, even if you're in moments, but not in this stupid fucking movie. In this movie, it's like, oh, thank God.
This is where he gets heckled, right?
Yes.
The other thieves...
By the other guys getting crucified.
Do it! Magic.
Fucking fool yourself.
This is all part of the trick. Don't be an asshole.
This is every magic show I've ever done where someone just takes my cards and shuffles them and is like, now find the card. And I'm like, I can't do that. and Jesus just reacts the way I do when I fail a magic trick. I'm just like, totally could have done that trick again. But I decided to die for your sins instead. But my friend Mary told you I could totally escape from this cross if I want to.
3, 2, 1. Oh, podcast audience. And I should also say that this is the point where we start interlacing the Sermon on the Mount. And I thought this was super awkward because I had read before that the guy got struck by lightning. Well, the percent Jesus saying the world's going to end in 3-4 minutes. That's the whole goddamn thing. There's a couple little bits where he's also don't kill people and shit. But that's...
They choose the one sentence he said that was Jesus-y according to most people who haven't read the Bible.
Against the Bible. They got it.
Yeah. And so now and then of course there's thunder and that freaks everybody out.
Look how clean it is here. Who cleaned up? This is lovely.
Now, but I will say though, the one Jew in the movie that was willing to brave the weather was Mary. So she shows up and she's like, "Hey, son, how you doing?" And he's like, "I'm kind of thirsty." They put a little sponge on a spear and hold it up to him. He sucks off
Now he's allowed water.
Was he allowed to act could he have asked for food or let me get a blowjob? My dick's kind of dry.
How about they just have a prostitute on a spear that they just raise up to his dick.
How about a claw fucking hammer?
Waterboarding. Yeah.
Use a claw hammer right about now. So Jesus says some cryptic words. Mom says some sad words.
It's cool.
And then I guess the weather's getting bad, so they start they do the breaking the thieves' legs and the stabbing the spear, as though they knew they were running out of movie.
Right, they're trying to wrap up Coachella. They're like, oh, fuck, guys, come on. We gotta break this down, guys. Come on, knees. And then Jesus, they stab him with the spear because it's the nicer thing to do.
I guess.
And the guy he stabs him with the spear and he gets all blood on his face and he has a Green Mile moment. But we don't know what was wrong with that guy's dick. So that soldier stabs him, he gets sprayed, and he's like, oh, I'm healed. And it's like, what are you healed of? And he's like, I don't know, we couldn't put it in the movie. Just like a scene that they cut where he's doing clap push-ups all of a sudden. Feeling great.
So now Jesus is dead. And we get this great, for Vultures of Horror, this would have been an awesome special effect. The raindrop falls or whatever, and we're inside it, I guess, or what. Anyway, a big earthquake happens, and everybody's like, "Fuck that, man! Storms and earthquakes, that's got to be deicide. That shit just doesn't happen."
Yeah.
So, yeah. So. So now the temple is destroyed, and Satan's all mad and snarly in hell.
Right, and Satan has a no moment where he's like, no!
Like a pterodactyl just lost to Harry Potter in a battle. It's just I'll never get a Palme d'Or at Cannes!
I expected him to pull a bucket of Jesus' blood down on himself in a chair. Cuts to a Ricky Martin video.
I was hoping for that, too. So the Jews, of course, come back and their temple's all destroyed. That's what they get. And you thought maybe you've seen enough bloody Jesus, but no, you haven't. Because now we got to get them taking him down with their winches and shit like that. Now that he's dead, they're being super gentle.
I really wanted somebody to drop their end of the sling.
That would have been
have
awesome.
trouble with it. No, the left. Move, grab the left side. What are you doing?
My left.
Turn it the other way.
Pivot.
Why are you pivoting my way?
No,
I said left.
Okay.
Stage left.
Don't shout at me. You are shouting at me. You are shouting at me.
God
we're
damn
going
it.
to HR again.
We're
going to HR again. I need a mediation. No, this is a hostile work environment.
Unbelievable.
Those two guys gave each other a silent treatment the rest of the day. It was love.
So, we're almost there. So a crazy long, take a nap for a minute blackout happens, and then we come back. We're in the tomb where they're rolling the stone or whatever,
and Jesus deflates.
Just
he does.
If I get crazy billionaire money, the only change I will make to this movie is I'll just insert the. But then he's standing next to his own...
He's Obi-Wan Kenobiing in the corner or whatever,
Right. He vanished from here, and he's here.
You could have been anywhere, man.
With a hole in his head.
With stigmata holes. Yeah.
Well, okay, and that's the fucked up thing. The stigmata is not supposed to be the fucking holes in his hands. It's supposed to be the wounds of the crucifixion. So he should still have the cross hatches and the skin hanging off. He should still look like the fucking menstruating vagina and everything, but no.
Just kept the holes. Just kept the holes. He's going to use those later.
He's also...
and they don't show any of that. Again, stigmata jerk. That's what we're all waiting for at this point.
Crazy billionaire money. Also,
Gaby,
stigmatajerk.com is our new website.
Yeah.
It's just me and Heath.
We have a shirt at the front.
It's an extension of Cooking with Ramen, or Cooking Ramen with... I'm just going to cut that one. No one will ever know that line existed.
It's on Go 90.
Don't
guys.
cut. That's a real show. That's important to me, and I want that publicized. I cook ramen. It's with me. It's a fun show. Thank you. One guy. Cooking ramen with Heath.
We're going to be doing the live Cooking with Ramen with Heath show next month.
Long tail marketing.
So, and that's the movie. I think my last note was just wow, that was gross. That was pretty much it.
I had stopped watching a long time ago.
It's let me guess, they crucify you.
I haven't had notes for half this yet.
There's just that gif of the cat looking for its phone on the bed, and that's all Heath has had up this entire show. If he's going to tell you, I'm going to tell you.
I almost made it. So, now, of course, the rumors are swirling that there's going to be a sequel.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And I'm curious what you know, like, okay, so let's say that Mel came to you. He handed you the whole franchise and he says, guys, what do you want to do for the sequel? Give me your elevator pitch.
I got a title anyway. All
right, that'll work.
The Passion 2, Morning Star Wars. Oh. We're all started by the Jews.
See,
it's a 3-layer joke.
I was thinking because, like, at the end, it's got that badass, like, he's gonna get vengeance music, right when he...
Yeah.
Like the Passion 2, Judgment Day.
Nice.
All right. That makes perfect sense. All right, well, rather than rating like normal reviewers would on like 1 to 5 stigmata or whatever, I want to try to capture the essence of this flick by simply asking you this. What is the one additional torture that Jesus would have had to go through in this movie before he suffered as much as you did?
Oh, that's a good one. Make him watch dailies of this movie throughout.
Yeah, because you got to imagine there was shit that didn't make it.
That's gotta be rough.
Just a separate crucifixion for his dick. the entire process, but his dick. Like, the dick has to carry a tiny cross. A big black
Yes!
Yeah.
You're a step ahead of me, motherfucker.
A black dick is helping him carry it along. The dick tangos with the other dick and falls down. Finally, they nail it by the balls to either side. They just put it next to him. Draw me that.
And well, that's going to do it for the live portion of our show and for our review of The Passion of the Christ. That's not going to do it for the episode just yet because we still need to tease you into rejoining us next week. So, Eli, tell us, what's on deck?
God's Not Dead.
The original. Now, okay, so unfortunately, this will have to be an Eli-less episode because we kind of had to use our spare while Eli's on honeymoon episode a couple of weeks ago. But if all goes as planned, we will be joined by friends of the show, Tom and Cecil from Cognitive Dissonance, who are, at the very least, Eli's equals in weight and collective public indecency charges.
It's true. It's true.
Now, of course, if you've been listening for a long time, you'll know that we actually did review this movie on Scathing way back when it was the first movie review that Eli ever did. That was like a 15-minute segment, 20-minute segment or whatever, or 2 years ago, whatever. I've actually never seen the movie, so we should still have a lot of fun with it and everything, and then we won't have to, like, you know, cheat Eli out of any of these phenomenally awesome movies we watch.
I appreciate that. I do. It's on Hulu. So if you want to watch along with us and you have Hulu, or more importantly, you know someone that has Hulu, you can watch it there.
There you go.
Yeah. And the second one will make a lot more sense all of a sudden.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
All those characters will really lock in for you.
It'll fill everything in. So with all that to look forward to, we're going to bring episode 53 to a merciful close. Need to toss out a huge thanks to Morgan Clark, without whom the live show would have been a fucking nightmare. I want to thank BJ Thorne for graciously volunteering his time to help us out on technicals as well. I want to thank Al Lehman from the Inciting Incident podcast for cooking up those awesome video clips that you guys didn't get to see because this is a podcast. Also, big thanks to Lucinda Illusions, Anna Phyllis Smith, and all the people at the People's Improv Theater, and most of all, of course, to all the awesome humans who came out to see the show live. Honestly, it ranks right up there with discovering anal beads in my top life experiences list, and it's all because of you guys. Fucking
both
amazing
happened in
time.
front of other people.
Told you it would be fun.
Well, mostly the same people, yeah.
Told you it was going to be the best.
Of course, I need to throw out an equal thanks to all the Patreon donors that help make the show go. If you'd like to count yourself among their ranks, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/godawful and thereby earn early access to every episode. You can also help us a ton by leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes and by sharing the show on all your various social media platforms. And if you enjoyed the show, be sure to check out our sibling shows, The Scathing Atheist and The Skeptocrat, available on iTunes, Stitcher, and wherever else podcasts live. If you have questions, comments, or cinematic suggestions, you can email godawfulmovies@gmail.com. All the music used in this episode was written and performed by Ryan Slotnick of Evil Giraffes on Mars and was used with permission. If you like what you hear more by following links on the show notes for this episode. Thanks again for giving us a chunk of your life this week. For Heath Enright and Eli Bosnick, I'm Noah Illusions, promising to work hard to earn another chunk next week. Until then, we'll leave you with the Breakfast Club close.
Somebody once
get knocked down, but I get up again. Keep down, Breakfast Club.
The Jews went on to bury the fossils and start more wars.
Pictures of Eli walking on stage in his underwear are on Twitter.
Jesus was several thousand years off on the whole world's gonna end thing. Any minute now.
I get back down.
And a crucifix and didn't come to show you if you're in New Jersey and didn't come.
Crucifix in the night away.
Thank you, New York. Aww.
How fun was that?
Now, I believe we still have the space for a good 10 minutes or so.
So we're going to do that orgy thing.
Yeah. Eli's going to go back in and change. No, but we did have a few minutes set aside for Q&A if anybody wanted. You know what? I had one other little bit of trivia that I had to throw out. I've been saving this. I haven't told these guys this yet. Does anybody know who Mel Gibson originally wanted to cast as Jesus? That's it.
Macaulay
Culkin.
Impressive. Make that happen.
Yeah. Which really, I gotta admit, I didn't get it ready in time, but I really wanted to recut the trailer for this movie as Home Alone 6. Because you can do it. There's the scene where Claudia wakes up, and I would just have like, Kevin!
Oh, there you go. We get Mary waking up like that, too. That'd be great.
That'd be a fun reaction to the crucifixion. Just, yeah.
Yes.
But he can't put his hands on his face, so he's just like... They nail it to his face.
Yes, that's it.
I would be so much nicer to Christians if they had like a guy like this that they wore around all the time.
Now,
just Latina women with that on their earrings instead.
Who set that up?
I did not set that.
I did not. Did you do that? Did you just tweet them that?
BJ just created that.
How did you do that?
BJ just created that out of nowhere. That's amazing. Text that to me. I'm going to use it.
That's fantastic.
And then,
for other stuff.
That's how bad it could have been, guys.
Joe Pesci as Pontius Pilate. Yeah.
Do not take it down.
I like it.
All right, you want to do a quick...
All right, so... the ultimate suffering. So, now we have about 6 minutes left for...
That's probably better.
Yeah, right. For Q&A. So if anybody has a question, Eli's going to be moving through. Just tell us your name, where you're from, and who you would recast as Jesus instead of Macaulay Culkin. Oh, yeah, and your question.
My name's Jeff. I'm from New Brunswick, New Jersey.
I generally don't. It makes my job a lot easier. I just drink the beers that people give me.
Good job on that, by the way.
Thank you. Who was that? Who brought the 3 beers up for this? And I ended up getting. Thank you. Awesome. Yes, fantastic. Question over there.
Hey, my name is Chris. First of all, Jar Jar Binks as.
There we go. Now
Solid
you're talking.
choice.
If you'd made it an Ewok, I'd have taken you out on a date tonight.
My question is, who has the most outtakes of all of you?
Outtakes?
Oh, me.
Easily Eli.
The way you hear me pronounce words is what makes it past the edit.
You get to hear about 20% of what Eli says. Yeah.
Everything that comes out of my mouth is just Richard Dawkins September. and he turns it into a show.
Yeah, no, people always tell me, they're like, no, we would love to hear the stuff that Eli takes out. And I'm like, have you heard the shit of his that I leave in? Or you just imagine what I take out from this guy.
A lot of nuclear gets taken out. A lot of nuclear.
Hi, I'm Catherine. Let's see, I'm from Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Who would I recast? Probably Arnold Schwarzenegger, just to hear him grunt every time they...
Nice.
My question's for you, Eli. I really want to know, how the hell did you get away with licking Ray Comfort and not get, punished?
So you guys can understand what happened. You're Ray Comfort. So first of all, I have 2 things.
I set this up so you would lick me.
I should have blown Ray Comfort because I got 12 emails from you people being like, I'm going to lick you when I see you at the show. I should have blown him. This would have been a great night for me. So here's what happened. It's sweaty. It's Reason Rally. The cops are hassling his henchmen, and I was like, "Hey, Ray, can I get a picture?" And I pulled him in like this. I got him here. I'm doing the Ray.
We're not gonna blow him. Okay.
I pulled
He
him
said
in like
he
this.
should have blown.
So I
Really?
shook his hand.
Okay.
Right? And I was like, and I told Anna beforehand, I was like, "You're gonna have to take this picture quick because I'm going to jail." And so I took a picture, and then he's tall, but I was like, Did you put cinnamon sugar on your face?
I did. I thought you would like that.
I did. So he
I also
felt
had it set up elsewhere, but
he reacted. He reacted, and I was just like, "Oh, my face is sweaty." And he was like, and I was like, "Gotta call the." You gotta live in a world where I licked you. Now, and we locked eyes, and he was just like, "All right, mate." We got it.
I want to tell this same story from a slightly different perspective because I was coming up from, so I'm walking across the National Mall because I got a hotel right by the National Mall. Ray is right fucking here. Now, I've got all the recording stuff with me. We don't trust Eli with expensive stuff. Him now! And so I start kind of picking up my pace, I want to try to get in there. And I see him from afar. I come up over the rise, and I see the two of them setting up for a picture. I'm like, he's trying to make it in time.
Shaka Khan.
And, well, yeah. That, and I was right. So I'm like at a full fucking sprint. I see the lick happen, and I just see Ray look at him just glassy, just stone, like he's trying to figure out if that means he's gay now.
And he is. That's how that works.
That's how that works.
How that works. It moved. If it moved when Eli licks you, that's the test.
Turns you gay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's closer.
I would like to recast Gilbert Gottfried.
Oh!
Excellent.
I would like you to say Pokemon.
Pikachu.
Yeah, I was going to say that one I got. It's the little feline lightning bolt that gives me shit. It's so funny as we're walking by here. There's like these three people on their phones, all like talking Pokemon Go or whatever. As I'm walking by, my wife
Comforts Noah's Ark Park.
That's Ken Ham.
A review of the actual facility, that venue.
Yeah. Well, I will say Tom and C giving a go at Noah's wife. So I had to run in the back and check. She was playing Candy Crush, so they weren't. But
Candy Crush that pussy. I'm so sorry.
Not that.
Oh, right, because that's New York City. Right. Passion of the Christ.
Sorry.
The preceding podcast was a production of Puzzle in a Thunderstorm, LLC, copyright 2016, all rights reserved.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Not long ago, we celebrated our 25th anniversary as a firm dedicated to, as many of you have heard, helping guys through one of the most difficult and crucial times in their lives. Starting out in 1990, my wife and I didn't realize that America and now in England. And though I'm proud of our growth, I'm most proud of the values that are the divorce, the cornerstone of our practice. We've also encouraged reconciliation where possible. Let them down.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's San Francisco area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Offices are Llewellyn licensed in California.